Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Star Trek Online, the Borg playthrough. So we're continuing to take the fight to the Breen in the Defera sector and finding out what exactly do they want with the Deferans. So we're going to be continuing on with the next episode and get a little bit deeper into the mystery. Just need to find Ambassador Sura again. There we go. Cold Comfort. Too bad he played the trumpet, not the sax. Never was a huge fan of Riker, the character, but I always enjoyed the actor in other roles. Granted, I really liked Riker in Picard, because the character relaxed and there was just something stiff about Riker that you didn't like. Yeah. He retired, he married, he had a family. We are receiving a distress signal in the Rave system. A Deferi transport weathered a Breen attack, but they've taken heavy casualties and are requesting immediate assistance. My people do not have military ships, Admiral, and I am loath to send a lightly armored rescue vessel into such a desperate, dangerous situation. Please, you must do whatever you can to help them. Get a crate of Deferi snow tubers, which is good for breeding one of the tribbles, or a rapid reload transphasic torpedo launcher. Kind of like Paris, I wouldn't say I had a girl crush on him, but something about his character drew you in. Pet, 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 pet. He did kind of have that boyish good looks charm to him. Rave 2. The Rave system is a binary system with a blue dwarf star in orbit of a much larger Class B star. Light from two stars should make Rave 2 much warmer than it actually is, but a thick layer of theta radiation in the upper atmosphere reflects much of the energy from the stars, keeping average surface temperatures on the planet low. More than 70% of the landmass of Rave 2 is covered with snow and ice for the majority of the solar year. Captain, we're being hailed by a disabled Deferi frigate. Putting it on screen now. Thank you for responding to our distress call. We were boarded by the Breen and have taken severe casualties. We could use any medical aid you could render. Please approach and beam over as soon as you can. Oh, we can fix all your medical problems. Just let us inject these nanites into your neck. Wait, Tuvix who? You don't remember that episode where Tuvok and Neelix had a transporter accident and got merged together? And they started calling him Tuvix? That was a weird episode. As transporter accident episodes go, that one was weird. Please beam over any medical supplies and personnel you can spare. We'll send your transporter chief the coordinates to our trauma center. Beam over myself. God, it's such an old map. By the balance, you couldn't have arrived at a better time. I need every available person to help with patients. I think the Breen take pleasure in causing pain. Few of our crew were killed, but many have been injured. If you want to help, I need someone at Table 7. Take the patient's medical history and triage the injury. If it is a minor issue, go ahead and treat them so we can make room for another patient. I got your medical implements right here. Ha 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 ha. Just stare into this Borg prosthetic arm for a moment. Please, it hurts. Help me. What hurts? It's my left side. I took a disruptor hit from a Breen rifle. Please, I need something for the pain. Do you have anything that will help? Treatment for disruptor injuries. There are several medications available from the Deferi medkits that we can use to treat this patient's pain. Acetylaniline, bicardine, hydrocortisone, metorpan, and morphinolog are all indicated for pain relief. Once the patient is stable, we can treat the disruptor hit directly with a protoplaser, which should fix the damage done to the cellular structure. Do you have any allergies? I'm highly allergic to metorpan. I was given it once and my airway swelled up until I was completely blocked. I almost died. Okay, so no metorpan allergy. Are you taking any medications currently? No. Do I look like I should be? Have you been treated for anything related to this issue? How often do you think I'm shot by a breen? The last time I saw a physician was 2 years ago. I was treated for a polywater intoxication. I need a doctor. When was the last time you ate? Midday, I guess. What does this have to do with anything? Why haven't you given me something for the pain yet? What were you doing before you were injured? I was repairing a power conduit on Deck 2 when the breen came out of engineering and shot me. They didn't even give me a chance to surrender. I wouldn't have fought them. Okay. Metorpan allergy and treatment for disruptor injuries. So we need either acetylaniline, bicardine, or hydrocortisone or morphinolog. Let's see. Let's make it. Please select a medication to load into a hypospray. Analgesics. Let's give them morphine. Morphinolog is indicated for treatment of chronic pain. Typically, morphine is used to treat side effects arising from the long-term use of other medications. Hydrocortisone is indicated for the treatment of pain in the cranial or upper spinal regions. It's most often used as a treatment for the common headache. Bicardine is indicated for decreasing pain associated with serious trauma injuries. Treatment with bicardine has been known to cause addictive behavior in patients who are treated with the drug for long periods of time, more than 10 days. Metorpan is a non-addictive substitute that is preferred in most cases of serious trauma. Load it up! The pain from the disruptor wound is subsiding. That feels much better, thank you. The bicardine is having the desired effect, Captain. Now we can use the protoplaser on the wound to treat it without causing undue pain to the patient. Right. Good work with that last patient. Has anyone ever told you that you have a talent for medicine? I need someone to check out the patient on table 3. I would appreciate any help you can give us. Mother? Is that you? What hurts? An older boy, named Tosca, used to take my favorite toys when I brought them to school. If I tried to fight him to get them back, he'd break the toys so that no one could play with them. My mother and Tosca was out of balance. My mother said Tosca was out of balance. Do you have any allergies? I hated the taste of my mother's stew when I was young. She tried to convince me it tasted like spring, but I thought it tasted like bugs. Are you taking any medications? I used to play in the mud every time it rained. My mother thought I'd get sick from playing outside in the cold and the damp, but I never got sick, not even once. Have you been treated for anything related to this issue? I loved it when my mother would sweep me up into her arms and hug me tight. She smelled like love and cooking herbs. Oh, when's the last time you ate? I used to pick berries with my sister on the hills, overlooking the farm where we grew up. They were tart, so my mother would sprinkle granulated clava honey on them. what were you doing before you got injured?
My father used to sing rhymes to me when I was a child. I would fall asleep in his arms and have the best dreams.
The patient seems disoriented and unaware of their surroundings.
I agree, Captain. It may be a symptom of brain trauma, but we cannot rule out a psychological breakdown until we do a mental status check. The stress of the brain attack may have been more than the patient's mind could process.
Do you know your name?
My sister had a doll she used to call Ilka.
Do you know approximately what time it is?
I loved catching umek insects at twilight. The light from the descending sun would make their wings glow like golden fire.
Do you know where you are?
Can we have dessert now? I finished all my vegetables.
Do you know what year it is?
My sister is 3 years older than I am. That meant my mom let her do all the fun things while I had to sit and watch.
Altered mental state.
There's something obviously wrong with this patient's mental status. I recommend that we scan the brain tissue for deep trauma. A hyperencephalogram should reveal if there is any damage. Tell me a story of the preservers again.
Get the neural scanner. Conduct neurological examination.
Captain, it appears that there is a cortical implant in this patient's brain that is causing the disorientation and delusions. There's an extremely high amount of neural activity in the area around the implant. Perhaps if we were able to decrease the activity with an anesthetic, the patient would be more responsive.
Medkit, anesthetics. Anethazine. Anethazine is an anesthetic. It has been used in gaseous form to incapacitate large numbers of hostile humanoids in a confined space. Anethrazine. Anethrazine is an acid used for calming hyperactive nerve impulses. Use of anethrazine has been known to interfere with cranial implants by decreasing their effectiveness. That looks good. Hope you're not allergic to this.
Where am I? I remember the brain attack, and there was this medic. He seemed sad. The brain implanted me with a cortical implant. It has been forcing me to relive memories from my past. Please help it get out of my head. I don't want to live like this. The anetrazine worked, Captain. Removing a cortical implant is a tricky process. We should confer with Dr. Casa about how to proceed. I'm not familiar with any technology like this. Any attempt I'd make at removing it would be based on an educated guess. We have some captured breen in the brig waiting for transport to a holding facility. Perhaps you could question them. One of the monsters who did this to my patient might know how to reverse the process.
Sounds good to me. It's like ice crystals all over the place. Ugh. Sir, there are a few things you should know about the breen before we begin the interrogation. Despite our less than civil encounters with the breen in the past, we have discovered ways to handle them. The breen are a warrior race. They do what is expedient, and will often take prisoners rather than kill. You get more work out of a slave than a dead man, after all. To the breen, it is only logical to put their duty above all. They survive, but they do not live as we do. The breen are very concerned with personal honor. Do not insult a breen's honor or suggest that they kill without cause, and you should be fine in your interrogation. Torture me if you wish, but I will never betray the Breen Confederacy. What is your name? Okay, guess you're not gonna talk. I'll assimilate you later. What are you looking at? What is your name? Look at you, cowering in the shadow of Thought Trell. What hope could the Deferi possibly have against might like his? I will not answer your questions. Go bother someone else. Tell me about Thought Trell. Thought Trell has more power and vision than a pathetic being like yourself can possibly comprehend. The Deferi will be the first to fall to his might, but they will not be the last. He will not stop until the entire Alpha Quadrant serves the Breen Confederacy. Someday soon I will stand on the blasted remains of your homeworld and celebrate our victory. I will grind the remains of your leaders into dust under my boot heels. Thought Trell will be the man who makes this possible. Delusional, but okay. Are you here to let me go? What is your name? I am Tran. What do you want from me? What are you doing here? I am a combat medic in the Fifth Order. I serve the Breen Confederacy. I was ordered to go to the system by my superiors. I am sure that you have encountered other Breen in the Deferi sector. What are you doing here? He is Dr. Trad! I am currently incarcerated in a Deferi brig. I was captured near the brig when my boarding party was overwhelmed by Deferi security teams. While this ship may not be carrying military personnel, a three-man boarding party stands little chance against four fully armed security teams defending their ship and their captain. We gave away the terrain advantage, and now we are paying the price. You must have known that this wasn't a military ship. Why did you attack it? I do not feel comfortable continuing this conversation. My commanding officer is in a nearby cell, and he can overhear everything that we are saying. While I do not agree with his actions in this matter, I respect his position of authority. I will not throw his dishonor in his face. Enable acoustic dampening field. All audio signals entering and leaving the cell are being blocked by an acoustic dampening field. Your commanding officer cannot hear what we are saying. My superior thought that these Deferi civilians might have the information for which we have been searching. While I might have disagreed with his choice of target, it is not a soldier's place to question his commanding officer. I think my dissension was the reason I was selected to join the assault on the ship's bridge. A dangerous task in the best of circumstances, and one that had the least chance of success. Did you object to your commanding officer about this assignment? Someone like you couldn't understand, but in the Breen Confederacy, we obey our commanders. I may not always be pleased by what I am ordered to do, but I understand that there is a goal that must be achieved, and that I may not have all the facts that my superiors do. Do you believe that the goal you were attempting to achieve was worth killing civilians? I didn't want to attack this ship. There is a nobility to being a soldier. When I enter battle, I know I can be killed. I know that others will die at my hands. But that is what we must do. It is part of being a soldier. Civilians are not part of this unspoken agreement. They do not wake up each day and know in their hearts it could be their last. They should be out of bounds as targets for people like you and me. There is no honor in fighting someone who is unprepared to fight back. I regret that I had orders to kill these civilians. More than that, I regret that I carried out those orders. What were your orders? I am a combat medic. Normally, my task is to repair the injuries of my fellow soldiers. On this mission, I was tasked with capturing civilians alive and fitting them with subspace cortical implants. These devices are barbaric, even by our standards. We use them to obtain memories from the most obstinate of interrogation subjects. This particular implant has a subspace relay intended to capture and transmit these memories, so that my superiors can sift through the secrets locked in our victims' minds, even as we moved on to implant more subjects. Why did you do this? What information did the Deferi have that you needed so badly? I am not sure what exactly the commanders wanted to learn from these people. I could only guess that my superiors wanted information that they felt could be held by any member of the Deferi population. The cortical implants were calibrated to bring long-term memories to the surface, even going back to the target's childhood. Perhaps they wanted to learn something that even a Deferi child might know. Would the probe Deferi know what memories were being searched? Perhaps, if they had the mental fortitude to recall the memories that were triggered during their interrogation. The pain from the implants can be quite intense. How do we remove the implant? The removal of the cortical implant is a very delicate procedure. The implants are intended to be strong enough to survive the interrogation process, but too difficult to be removed by the subject or anyone else. I have worked with these implants for some time. Have your doctors talk to me, and I will tell them what they need to do to remove them. Alright, success! This is just the information we needed. I will round up a surgical team and we will begin the process of removing the implant immediately. I spent some time talking to the patient while you were in the brig. It sounded to me like the Breen implant was triggering memories from the patient's early childhood, many of them involving rhymes and songs. Rhymes and songs? Most Deferi parents and grandparents sing to their children and tell them stories of our past and our traditions. A common theme in our songs is the preservers. We sing of their travels through the universe, their efforts to maintain the balance, and their great archive. My children are particularly fond of songs about the Preserver Archive, a hidden place where they left all of their technology and records of the ancient days. It is an interesting story, but I don't know if a place like that could actually exist. After all, we're talking about children's rhymes. Captain, the Breen must believe that the Preserver Archive exists. There is no other explanation as to why they would target Deferi civilians in order to obtain information about nursery rhymes. Before we leave, Tran has requested to talk to you again. He's awaiting in his cell. We will do the next Stream Raiders battle shortly after this segment. Alright, Tran. Thank you for returning. I know that helping you was the right thing to do, but because I did so, I could never return to the Breen Confederacy. Therefore, I would like to request asylum. Much has happened between our races, but I see now that you are different. Perhaps it is time for a different sort of Breen. I, however, am not alone in this request. There are a small group of Breen that share my feelings. We know that attacking innocents is wrong. If you accept us, we would all like to join you. I will give you the information necessary to contact them. It may take some time before they are willing to respond. Your future actions will help speed up that process. We've sent a communication based on Tran's information. I can't be sure that it was received, so at this point I believe the only thing we can do is wait for a response. A Breen capable of reason. I never thought I would see that. I'm surprised, but I'm not going to complain about good fortune. The Deveri seem to have things under control for now. Are you ready to leave the system? Let's go! I remember stories about the preservers from my childhood, and of course we have ruins linked to them on Defera, but I have never heard of an intact preserver installation. The Breen, however, are taking these stories quite seriously, and if the Breen manage to acquire preserver-level technology, they could shift the balance of power in the entire Alpha Quadrant. It's lucky that you were able to establish a connection with Tran. I believe that he was sent by the Preservers to help maintain the balance in the galaxy, and I am grateful. I know your intelligence service has more questions for him, but after that, I promise I'll do what I can to see that he and any other Breen who disagree with their government's actions are not forgotten. One of your commanding officers was requesting to speak with you. You should consider meeting with them when you are done here. Go. And I don't think anything's actually going to pop up. But that is going to have to be it for this episode of Star Trek Online, the Borg playthrough. Thank you all so much for making it to the end of the video. Be sure to check me out on Twitter at at Lord Casselstone. I'm also on Blue Sky Social at KefkaCasselstone.bsky.social. And be sure to stop by my fourth wall and check me out at Kefka-Casselstone-shop.fourthwall.com. Anyway, that's going to be it for me, guys. Thank you so much, and I will see y'all in the next video. Love y'all. Bye-bye!